Today in this session, we will discuss the poem An Old Woman by Arun Kolatkar. Arun Balakrishna Kolatkar, he was born in November 1, 1932 and died on 2004 September 25. He was a poet from Maharashtra, India. He wrote both in Marathi and English, and his poems found humor in many everyday matters. His poetry had an influence on modern Marathi poets. His first book on English poetry, Jejuri, is a collection of 31 poems, and it pertains to a visit of his poet to a religious place with the same name, Jejuri, in Maharashtra. The book won Commonwealth Writers' Prize in 1977. His Marathi verse collection, Bichki Wahi, won a Sahitya Academy Award in 2005. In this poem, he describes a brief encounter he had with an old beggar woman. In An Old Woman, the narrator presents a very common incident most tourists experience when they visit a historical shrine in India. Such tourist places are usually crowded out by beggars, vendors, and tourist guides, pestering tourists to give them alms or buy toys and trinkets or to hire them as guides respectively. The first 4 stanzas of the poem portray the old woman as a bar. The rest of the stanzas describe the narrator's reaction and also signal a change in his attitude as well as his perspective towards the old woman. An old woman grabs hold of the poet's sleeve and tags along. She wants a 50 paise coin. She says she will take him to the horseshoe shrine. So here an old woman clutches a tourist's sleeve and tags along with him. She wants a 50 paise coin. For this, she offers to show him the horseshoe shrine. This refers to a legend centered around a horseshoe-shaped depression in a rock about Kandoba, the presiding deity at Jejuri, who leaped from that rock onto his horse as he carried his wife with him. This is a legend that the true believer respects and the skeptic doubts. You have seen it already. She hobbles along anyway and tightens her grip on your shirt. She won't let you go. You know how these old women are. They stick to you like a burr. You turn around and face her with an air of finality. You want to end the farce. When you hear her say, "What else can an old woman do on hills as wretched as these?" The tourist moves away as he has seen the shrine already. The old woman tightens her grip and hobbles along, not giving up so easily. She is persistent. She clings to him like a burr, that is, a prickly seed pod that clings to clothes. Certainly, the woman is a self-appointed tourist guide because she pesters the speaker to avail of her services even when his intention is to get rid of her. Her persistence is seen in the fact that she hobbles after him and goes to the extent of stopping him by tightening her grip on his shirt. The speaker is more and more annoyed and he wants to get rid of her by being firm in refusing her offer. If we compare the interaction between the speaker and the old woman, we see that it isn't much different from the transaction that takes place between a tourist and a beggar. Irritated by this persistence, the tourist decides to face her with an air of finality. He decides that he will not yield to her and thereby wants to put an end to the farce. He presumes that his no-nonsense reaction will deter her. But the old woman's matter-of-fact question, "What else could an old woman do to survive on these wretched hills?" strikes the narrator like a thunderbolt. You look right at the sky, clean through the bullet holes she has for her eyes, and as you look on the cracks that begin around her eyes, spread beyond her skin, and the hills crack, and the temples crack, and the sky falls with a plate glass clatter around the shatterproof crone who stands alone. Her statement shocked the narrator slightly. The old woman's words triggered the moment of transformation in him. This made him look at her eyes, which were sunk deep inside her face like two bullet holes, and he looked right at the sky clearly through them. Her skin is wrinkled and cracks begin to appear around her eyes and spread beyond her skin. He feels that everything is falling apart. Everything is cracked and in ruins. The cracks spread beyond her skin to the hills and the sky. There is a catastrophe. The hills crack, the temples crack, and the sky falls and shatters like a sheet of glass except for the shatterproof crone who stands alone. At this moment, the poet realizes his own value. He has been reduced to a 50 paise coin in the hands of poverty. It is at this moment that the poet's scorn for the old woman changes to respect. The narrator feels ashamed. He is reduced to the small change in her hand. In a moment of realization, the narrator finds himself reduced in his self-esteem. His awakening to the real world makes him feel small, as insignificant as the small coin he gave the old woman. The narrator experiences a revelation: the old beggar woman's fragile physical appearance, her irritating and persistent appeals to the tourists for a 50 paise coin, the aging barren hills and the horseshoe shrine together symbolize the fast vanishing remnants of our cultural heritage. The poet becomes aware of the cracks in the fabric of our society, our religious beliefs and our traditions. What are these cracks? They signify the moral degeneration of our society, which had fallen prey to. Had we been following our traditions of family values, respect and care of elders, this old woman would have had a family, people to care for her and a home to go to. She would surely not have been on the streets, dependent on the occasional kindness of visitors to the shrine, nor faced the humiliation of refusal, irritation, perhaps even harsh words. Thus, the miserable plight of the old woman, as revealed through the poem, is a comment on the merciless society. Thank you.